Everyone, it's Melissa, and welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to make a sun catcher or a beaded chandelier? We'll be using the newest Softlex company design kit, California Dreaming, and this was for their Customer Appreciation Week. And in the kit, you got a silver plated bangle, and that was one of the exclusive items. But instead of making a bangle, I'm going to turn it into home decor. And I will leave a link down below in the description if this kit is still available, and a link to the unboxing of this fantastic kit and all other tutorials I have created with it down below in the playlist description. And before we start creating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. So I already started creating a little bit of the project just because it is a lot of steps to kind of make a beaded chandelier. So I'm using beads from the kit, and I'm just adding in size 11 gold seed beads, and they're available on their website, softflexcompany.com. I'm using these 4 millimeter faceted beads, and they were claimed from one of the Softflex Company live sales. Just felt it kind of incorporated the colors in together. And I'm using Softflex wire in silver, and we're going to need 16 little components, and then I'm alternating from the green on the top to the blue on the bottom. So we're just going to alternate through our little beaded component. So we're just going to string them on to our soft flex wire, put one of my 4 millimeter beads on, and you can use any beads or seed beads. Three seed beads, one green bead, four seed beads, this beautiful crystal bead, four more seed beads, a blue crystal, three seed beads, and then finishing off with that other 4 millimeter bead. And some of these beads were from Bedoria. It was part of the ocean mix inside the kit from Kay. Let's start creating. So I have my beads, and I like to work on the soft flex spool when I'm stringing them on. It just kind of acts as a bead stop. And we're going to need our 2x2s. And the Softflex wire blue lapis came in the kit, but I just wanted to do kind of mix my metals and do gold and silver. So we're just going to slide on our 2x2 once we have the beads. And we're going to pass back through our 2x2. And this is just going to create a little loop. And if you've made your other ones, you can compare the sizes of your loops. We're going to take our pliers and give it a squeeze. We're going to rotate, and this will give it a more professional finish. Now we have a little bit of a tail, so we're just going to trim that. And now that my beads are on the spool, I'm just going to slide them down, cut off a good working length, and we're going to add another 2x2 to make a loop on the other side. We added our 2x2, passed it back through. Same thing. We're just going to go and give it a squeeze and rotate and trim our extra soft flex wire. And I just have them kind of piled up here, so I'm just going to make sure they're going the right way. And now we're just going to string on the last little component. Comment down below what you thought of this wonderful kit. It was so inspiring. I loved having kind of an ocean themed kit in the middle of fall. Add on our beads. What I love about the Softflex wire is it acts as a needle, so you don't have to pick up the little seed beads with your fingers. So we'll pick up 3 seed beads, and we're just going to repeat our pattern. And you can make all the strands different if you want to. So we're just going to add on all the little seed beads until we reach the end of our project. We have all the beads added on. We're just going to slide on our 2x2 and pass our beading wire back through our 2x2, making that little connection. And then take our pliers and give it a smash and make sure that our loop is the same size. Give it a smash and rotate. I'm just going to trim off any extra soft flex wire. So now we have all our little beads in the pattern that we want for our connectors. We're just going to be using 6 millimeter jump rings and our bangle base. What was really nice about this Softflex kit is it came with some head pins. So I think that was the first time I remember them coming with head pins, which is really nice. So we're going to have our little loop or connection point at the bottom. What I'm going to attach to the bottom of the little loop. I do have some seahorse charms from Tiara Cast. I'll just have to see what I have in my collection to add in. So we have 16 little loops around the base of our bangle. I was originally thinking of doing like a sun catcher, maybe some wire wrapping, or maybe just turn it into a flower. But then I was like, it was going to be a beaded ornament, and now it kind of grew and changed. So now it's going to be a beaded chandelier. So we're going to take our jump ring, 1 6 millimeter jump ring, and we're just going to twist side to side. Doesn't matter where you start, just connect your jump ring and connect one of your little components. And the one I just connected, the top is blue. It's gonna look like a little bit of a jellyfish while we're creating our project. So the top bead is blue. Now we're just gonna make sure that the next one is green. And you can make your own jump rings out of Softflex craft wire. They have a really pretty emerald wire, so I think that would look really pretty for the under the sea. And then we're just gonna keep alternating between the blue and the green for the top until we go all the way around our little chandelier component. And I think Softflex wire and turquoise or fluorite would be really pretty as well. So we have all our little dangles added on. So it looks like a little jellyfish right now. And don't worry if some of them are kind of curving or not quite straight. We're going to add little tassels to the end of them in just a little bit. We're going to attach the connection point to the top. So we're just going to set our little jellyfish off to the side for just a moment. I'm using one of these little crystals, and this was from the Jesse James bead strand, Grateful Heart. And then I'm going to be using these beautiful opal beads, and they were from the bead mix for California Dreaming. A couple more of my little blue beads. And then we have the beautiful Tiara cast charm. These are seed beads, and if you want to switch seed beads, you can. I will still be using the gold. So we're just going to do the same thing with our Softflex wire. And I'm going to put two blue beads on each side of this beautiful opal bead. So when any sunlight hits it, it's just going to glow. I thought that'd be really nice to kind of have a glow as well as a sparkle with the check glass beads. Just going to add on the beads to our Softflex wire in the pattern that we want, and we're going to do that 3 more times. And then we're just going to add our 2x2s and make our little connection points. So I have a spacing of 3 seed beads between each bead. We have all our beads added on. I'm just going to slide on 1 2x2 and then make our little loop. Let's give it a squeeze and rotate. So we're just doing the same thing that we did on the other side when we were making our strands from a component. Slide our beads down. Add on that next 2x2. Pass back through. And then we'll give it a squeeze and rotate. And down below in the description, I will also leave a link to the playlist of sun catchers that I have made in past videos, as well as any beaded ornaments or home decor. So we have our first little connector. We're just going to do that 3 more times. So we have all our little links, our 4 little components, and now we're just going to attach it to our little beaded chandelier here or a little jellyfish. So there's 16 little connection points. So we just want to make sure that it's even. So if we connect one here, we want to go directly across. If you're familiar with kumihimo, how when you're making your braid, you just kind of jump directly across to the next one. It's kind of the same thing. So if we start here, we'll go here. If we start here, we'll go to this side. And up our jump rings again. And it doesn't matter where you start. Just going to pick a little connection point, and two 6 millimeter jump rings will go through the center hoop of our little dangle or our bangle. We're going to give it a close to here, and we're just going to go directly across to this one. And we're just going to slide it through and attach our little component. And give it a close. We want to hear that little click. So we're exiting this one. We're just going to go to this next one here. And we're going to connect our last little connector and give it a close. Add all of our little beads that we just added on. See how it's going to kind of hold together like a little chandelier. And we're going to attach all four that we just added on to a jump ring. So we're just going to pick up one of them. Then we're going to go in order of how they were connected. So we have the base of our little chandelier. Attach it to the jump ring we just added, and attach it to one of the sides of our little crystal. And give it a close. We have our beautiful little beaded chandelier. Now we're just going to add the little dangles to our jellyfish and our little chandelier. I'll be making loops with the one-step looper in the 1.5 millimeter. And these are just a little sample of what the loops are going to look like. I'm using beads claimed from the Softlex Company live sale, as well as some leftover beads from the California Dreaming kit. And I'm adding in these little tiara cast seahorses to the green beads that were in the exclusive California Dreaming bead mix from Jesse James Beads. So you will just need some head pins and eye pins, and then any beads that you will be using for your little dangles. A wrapped loop using a round nose pliers, but since I have to make so many little loops, I will just be using the one-step looper. It just makes things a little faster, and it gives me the perfect loop every time. Just slide it in my tool and give it a squeeze. And when making your loops, some of them will be on the eye pins, like this example here, just so it can dangle a little bit lower, so the beads aren't clustered together or overlapping on the project. This is a great way to use all the extra beads in your collection, or if you just have a few of them to make this beautiful project. So we're just going to make sure that all our loops are secure and closed. We need our 6 millimeter jump rings. I'm going to open them up and attach the little dangle on the bottom to any of our eye pins. And then for the short little dangles that are just on head pins, we're only going to attach the jump rings on the top when we go to connect it to our chandelier. And then for the two hold beads here in the little octagons in the beautiful green color, a 6 millimeter jump ring will go through, and that's where you can connect your charm or another little bead or head pin component. And then for our little green octagons, We're just going to attach it to these little components here on the eye pin with the crystal and then a couple of the little blue beads on the side. All different links, or I'm doing them in sets, so I'll have 8 of these ones, 4 of these, and then 4 with the little seahorse charm. So we'll continue to connect all our little links together, and then we'll be ready to add them onto our chandelier. And you can also add more than one dangle to the jump ring. So we have all our little components completed. And then I did have 2 more little seahorses, but they're somewhere on my table. So when I find those, I'll just go ahead and add those on. We're going to bring in our little chandelier. And I went ahead and just attached some extra soft flex wire to the top of this little cage bead and then made a loop with seed beads. I'm going to add my seahorses and then the little octagon ones to the main part where I did the connection. And then we're just going to open more jump rings to connect them all together. And we'll close. And I'm going to add these little ones on the side. Something about like just the ocean colors are just so relaxing. We'll attach it to our little soft flex link that we made earlier and give it a close. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Attach our jump ring and our little drop. And you could also use gemstone beads in this project. I just would recommend keeping it inside. Some gemstones can be damaged with the water or rain. And then we're going to attach one of our little dangles here. It's our 2-part dangle with eye pin and head pin. So you can see how one is shorter and then it goes longer and shorter. So we're just going to add the rest of our dangles onto our little chandelier. We have our beautiful chandelier, and then I'm just going to add on my last 2 little seahorse charms. Just till it's full of sparkle. And each one you make will be unique because they'll all be different beads. We have our soft flex wire. We're going to add on our beads. And then I just added in a couple of these other beads that were part of the ocean mix from the California Dreaming Design Kit, just because some of the beads, the seed beads were going right through them. So it wasn't giving me the spacing. So we're still going to do the spacing of 2 seed beads, one of our little fire polished glass crystals, and then our beautiful 8mm aqua bead, and that has a crackle finish. So we're just going to keep adding on the beads until we reach the end. And we added on all our beads, full of sparkle. Now we're going to slide on one of our 2x2s. And we can add a jump ring to our little charm here, but I'm just going to make a loop out of seed beads. So we're going to pick up 7 seed beads. Our 7 seed beads, we're going to slide on our California charm, and then we're going to pick up 7 more seed beads. This is just going to create like a little beaded loop for our charm. And then we're just going to pass back through our 2x2. I'm going to make sure that all my beads are closer to the end of my soft flex wire. And it's going to create that little loop. We're just going to take our pliers and give it a little smash. I have a little bit of a tail, so I'll just go and trim that. We'll slide our beads down, and we have our beautiful little center dangle with our California charm. And then we're just going to trim off a working length. So we're just going to put on that 2x2, and then we're going to add 15 seed beads. Final steps of our project. So we have our seed beads. We're just going to pass back through our 2x2. And when we give it a little smash, we want to make sure that we don't crush any of our seed beads. And I do have some extra soft flex wire, so I will go ahead and save that for another project. Now we're just going to trim off our extra soft flex. We're going to grab our 6mm jump ring, bring in our chandelier. So we're going to open up our 6mm jump ring and attach our little seed bead loop. We have our two little components on each side. We're just going to attach it to the middle. We just want to attach it directly to the jump ring and give it a close. We have our beautiful California Dreaming chandelier made with the California Dreaming Softlex Company design kit for customer appreciation. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. And also check out down below in the description for all other tutorials using this fabulous design kit and other beaded ornaments and home decor. Have an awesome day.